Hello. Today's video will show what happens when some batteries spend too much time in storage. This pack of 777 batteries has been bought, I estimate, I have not written anywhere, around 2015 or 2016. As can be seen on their bottom, they have expired in 2019. As we can see over here quite easily, both batteries suffered due to electrolyte leakage. The electrolyte leakage is still not as extensive as it would already compromise the device in which they could have been. But this shows that even batteries in storage can have a problem. If you would like to have a better understanding of this, I think there are many videos on the internet that show what happens when such internal damage occurs. And it's natural, and just about any battery will get there sooner or later. So this is not the issue. The issue is how well protected your device is when you have to use such batteries. And of course, I do not have high expectations. These are cheap Chinese batteries, and the brand you are seeing over here is very old, I think more than 30 years old. So they have been a manufacturer for a long time. Of course, they were manufacturing economy products, so price was their main concern. However, they have slightly improved the manufacturing quality as time went by. However, as you can notice on my finger, there is already some electrolyte that may be already reaching the surface of the battery. So these batteries are clearly compromised. And this is the second battery. The other two batteries have already been decommissioned long before. As you can see, this battery has much more reduced electrolyte issues. However, some of those changes in color on various areas and slight bumps that appear show that electrolyte leakage will also occur on this battery. Now let's see what happens if we have something that is quite obvious in terms of battery performance, because this is also an issue we may be interested in. So this is why I bought this well-cloned multimeter. I have featured it on the channel for a couple of times. And first of all, let's measure voltage, because as you know, these kind of batteries generally have a decreasing voltage as they grow older, and this is pronounced in the case of alkaline and standard batteries, but it does not happen for rechargeable ones, except the ones that use the lithium ion or lithium polymer technology. All right, so let's measure voltage. So I will go and use the voltage measurement scale. I could go for 20 volts because I am not going to have any sort of issue with measuring voltage. I think that 2 decimals is enough for this kind of determination, and hopefully we can see right away. It doesn't matter what polarity I'm going to use, but sticking to the principle, let's make the attempt at using the right polarity. Okay, and probably untangle a bit the wires, not much, just enough. Okay, and let's see what the multimeter tells us. Oh, that's very interesting. So actually we reach a voltage of 2 millivolts. This is surprising. I was expecting the battery to have around a tenth of a volt up to half of a volt. But as it seems, the battery has reached a very low voltage. In this case, I think it's interesting to see what the other battery shows, because this one is already compromised and it can be clearly demonstrated. So let's see, 1.5 volts, so it's almost at the normal level. Well, what this information shows us? Clearly there is a lot of manufacturing variability, and while the Chinese manufacturer has clearly improved compared with, I don't know, 10 or 15 years ago, and this is certain. I mean, you can see on the quality of contacts. You can see in the general build of the quality, the feel, the weight, that it's not as bad as it used to be. On the other hand, manufacturing variability still means that you can encounter such issues, meaning that your battery can be long gone without any sort of indication. Now it's very interesting if we would have known how this battery degraded and how quickly it reached that state. So probably for the purpose of an experiment, I will keep this battery that is still new and see how much time it passes since the day this video was filmed until it also degrades. I'm expecting the evolution to be around 1 year, so I'm expecting it to degrade in about 1 year, but we will see. All right, let's have a check also on current, because I want to know if this battery already started to have reduced capacity. So I'm going to make the usual measurement you see featured on this channel, the one about the maximum current draw. So let's see what happens. Of course, we are using the current draw in short circuit, so this is not advisable with high-powered loads or high-powered power supplies. You may damage the device or damage the battery, but in this case, nothing will happen. The current is already limited by the battery, and it will not harm the multimeter, and it will not harm the battery itself, because there are certain situations where high current draws may occur. So let's see what happens. Okay, 10 amps. 1.25 amps. Since I haven't written on the battery itself what was the current capacity at that time, or the maximum current being delivered, I have a rough estimate of probably somewhere along the line of 2 amps, because a very good battery generally supplies 4 amps, so it's not that far-fetched to consider that 1.25 amps is slightly less than it used to be. So we are left wondering when this battery will eventually go bad. However, I cannot blame the manufacturer too much, because as you have noticed, we are 3 years past the expiry date. So the manufacturer wasn't assuming a higher lifespan for these batteries. And this is entirely understandable. We don't know how many years prior to the expiry date the batteries were manufactured. They could have been in a batch that was released around 2014. So even more than 5 years before the expiry date. We will not know for sure this situation. However, the one that survived, I think, shows that there is a lot of promise in improved battery manufacturing, and this shows that a good process can lead to good results. The issue with variability probably pertains to the actual construction of the electrodes and how well they sustain the chemical attack made by the electrolyte. In general, in absolute terms, all batteries go bad. The issue is how soon and how much of a large difference you can see between batteries in a particular batch, because this means if you can rely or not on them. So this is one of the reasons why you see many times that I make measurements for a whole batch of batteries and see how much current they deliver, because if there is already some variability, I'm expecting that variability to stick. So there you have it. Batteries that were built probably around 2015 or so can still be working, but some of them go bad. Of course, this kind of behavior is amplified when batteries are drained. So if you have left them in, I don't know, remote control or just about any device, I'm expecting them to be already gone if they were placed in a device after the expiry date, and probably they would have leaked, because in general leaking is amplified when a battery is also having a reduced charge states and the electrolyte is already additionally stressed by the amount of chemical activity that was created in order to sustain the energy that was the electrical energy that was being supplied. All right, so I think this goes on to show quite well what can happen, and I hope you find this video interesting. So thank you very much for watching.